బెటర్ కదా సార్, బాగానే ఉంది.
బెటర్. ఎల్లుండితో రోజు అయిపోద్ది, ఇంక వీక్లీ ఒక్క రోజు పెట్టుకుంటా.
ఓకే, నాకు నో ఇష్యూ సార్. రోజు చేసుకున్నా మీకు అంటే ఏం ఉండదు. హ్యాపీగా ఒక 10 minutes 5 minutes ముందు కాల్ చేస్తారు.
అంటే ఇది మనం ఎత్తుక్కోవాలి కదా, గెస్ట్లను వెతుక్కోవాలి. న్యూస్ లాగా అయితే మనం చదివేసుకోవచ్చు. అంటే మనకి ఇంకా ఫెసిలిటీస్ ఉంటే ఆ వీడియోస్ మధ్యలో ప్లే చేసేవి అవన్నీ ఉంటే బెటరు, ఎవరైనా స్టూడియో అసిస్టెంట్స్. హీఈస్ ఆస్కింగ్ మీ టు సెండ్ జూమ్ లింక్ అగైన్. ఓకే, 1 second.
మీరు కోర్స్ చేసాను, మీరు ఇచ్చేయచ్చు.
ఒక్క నిమిషం. లాలేష్ మీరు పంపించిన జూమ్. వచ్చారు వాళ్ళు, ఇంకా రాలేదు. కానీ మన టీవీ వస్తే పర్లేదు, టీవీ5 వాళ్ళు వేసుకుంటారా? ఇట్లా మన టీవీ కనిపించినా వేస్తున్నారా?
ఎక్కడ కనిపిస్తుంది సార్ మన టీవీ?
ఈ పక్కన కనిపిస్తుంది కదా మన టీవీ అని.
అది అవుట్లో రాస్తారు.
ఆహా, అంటే గ్యాలరీ వ్యూ పెడితే వస్తుంది.
ఏ వ్యూ పెట్టినా రాదు.
ఓ, రాదా? ఓకే.
వస్తే నేను మాకు అవుట్లో చూస్తారు కదా మీరు, అది ఎక్కడ రాదు.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇట్లా స్పీకర్ వ్యూలో రాదు. మీరు మాట్లాడుతుంటే ఇది వస్తుంది, నేను మాట్లాడుతుంటే నేను వస్తాను. గ్యాలరీ వ్యూలో అయితే అందరూ వస్తారు కదా.
అందరూ వస్తారు. నా వీడియో మ్యూట్ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి అవుట్లో వీడియో ఏం కనిపించింది.
ఓ ఓకే, వెయ్యరా? ఓకే, ఫైన్ దెన్, ఇట్స్ ఫైన్. మరి ఇప్పుడు గ్యాలరీ వ్యూలో ఇప్పుడు మీది ఏమవుతుంది? ఇప్పుడు మన ఇద్దరం ఉన్నాం కదా వ్యూలోని,
చూడడానికి మ్యూట్ లో ఉంటుంది. అక్కడ మన టీవీ లోగో కనిపిస్తుంది. అవుట్ లో నేను స్ట్రీమ్ చేసిన అవుట్ లో ఏం రాదు, మీరు అక్కడే వస్తారు అవుట్.
అవునా? ఓకే, ఐ డిడ్ంట్ నో దట్. ఓకే, అయితే పర్వాలేదు. ఎవరో వచ్చారు, త్రిశూల్. మీరు అడ్మిట్ చేస్తారు, నేను చేయొచ్చు, నేను కూడా చేయొచ్చు అనుకుంటా.
నేను ఒక లైవ్ రెడీ చేస్తాను.
హలో త్రిశూల్. యా, ఐ థింక్ హీ కేమ్. ఎక్కువైపోయిందా రెడ్?
అవును సార్, ఎక్కువైంది.
రెడ్ తీసేనా? రెడ్ కోటు
లైట్ ఏమైనా తగ్గేయగలుగుతుందా?
యా,
లేదు సార్, ఇందాక పెట్టు.
మనం ప్యాంగ్ రెడీ చేసుకోవాలి కదా. హౌ ఆర్ యూ త్రిశూల్ గారు?
హలో, నమస్తే అండి. బాగున్నారా?
బాగున్నాం. హౌ ఆర్ యూ?
ఐఎమ్ డూయింగ్ వెల్ అండి.
ఓకే. ఓ, ఐ థాట్ యు
ఆర్. మీరు కెన్ యు హియర్ మీ?
యా. కెన్ యూ లిటిల్ బిట్ గో బ్యాక్వర్డ్స్, లైక్ యువర్ హెడ్ ఇస్ లిటిల్ కట్. యా, లేకపోతే మీ చైర్ ని కొంచెం కిందకి దింపుకున్నా పర్వాలేదు. అంటే మళ్ళీ మీరు బహుశా ఏదైనా చెప్పడానికి ఇట్లా ముందుకు వస్తే ఇంకొంచెం దిగచ్చు.
ఒక్క నిమిషం.
అంటే మీరు ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్ ఎమోషనల్ అండ్ దెన్ యూజ్ యువర్ బాడీ లాంగ్వేజ్ టు టెల్ ముందుకు ఎట్లా వస్తూ ఉంటే దెన్ దిస్ ఇస్ ఫైన్ ఇంతవరకు రావచ్చు మీరు ముందుకి. ఇంతకన్నా ముందుకు వస్తే పైన కట్ అవుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఇది కట్ అయింది పైన అట్లా. ఇప్పుడు నౌ ఇట్స్ ఫైన్. ఓకే అండి.
Nice to meet you, Andy.
Very nice meeting you. You are quite young than what I expected. How old are you?
I'm 42. I'll be 43 in January, Andy.
Oh my God. Yeah. Too young for your age.
అదే మీరు బయో ఆఫ్ ద పర్సన్ ఐఎమ్ డిబేటింగ్ విత్ చెప్పే వరకే గుండె టక్క అనింది. లైక్ వెరీ ఎస్టీమ్ పర్సన్ అండ్ యు నో.
వస్తున్నట్టున్నారు ఆయన. ఒక్క నిమిషం.
అండి.
షూర్. రావు గారు వచ్చిందా మీకు లింక్? జాయిన్ అవుతున్నారా? ఓకే అండి, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
సార్ మీ ఫ్రేమ్ ఒక్కసారి సెంటర్ కి మీరు కెమెరా చూడండి సార్ ఒకసారి. ఇది వ్యూ కరెక్ట్. సెంటర్ కొంచెం ఫ్రేమ్ సెంటర్ చేసుకోండి.
నేనా మధ్యలో అంటే సెంటర్ లోకి రాను ఇట్లాగా?
అది కెమెరా చూడాలి. మీరు ఎప్పుడు పక్కన చూస్తున్నారు.
అదే నాకు ప్రాబ్లం అయిపోతుంది. నేను ఐమ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు లెర్న్ ఇట్. నాకు వల్ల కావట్లేదు. ఎందుకంటే ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అంతా ఇప్పుడు నేను దీన్ని తీసేస్తాను, వీడియోని తీసేస్తాను ఒక నిమిషం అయినాక.
వచ్చారండి అడ్మిట్ కొట్టండి.
ఆయన వచ్చారు. ఒకసారి అడ్మిట్ చేస్తారా? రావు హ్యాస్ కమ్.
ఒకసారి కొట్టండి సార్, అడ్మిట్ కొట్టండి.
నాకు కూడా వస్తుంది. అవును, వచ్చారు. ఐ థింక్ ఐ అడ్మిటెడ్.
హలో అండి రవి గారు.
హాయ్ రావు గారు. మీ వీడియో ఈజ్ నాట్ కమింగ్ రావు గారు. యూ నీడ్ టు టర్న్ ఆన్ వీడియో. యా,
ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్. ఓకే, ఐ గాట్ ఇట్.
ఓకే, ఫైన్.
Is
far better. Yeah. ఇంకా మీరు ముందుకు రారు కదా, అట్లా ముందుకు ఏమన్నా వస్తారా? అంటే మీరు ముందుకు అంటే మీరు మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు ముందుకు వచ్చే అలవాటు ఉంటే కొంచెం హెడ్ ప్లేస్ కొంచెం పెట్టుకోవాలి మీరు.
I moved little bit. చెప్పండి ఇంకా. if I need to move little.
అంటే when you speak, if you want to, like కొంతమంది జనరల్ గా ఇట్లా ముందుకు వచ్చి మాట్లాడుతూ ఉంటారు కదా, అంటే ఎమోషనల్ in their emotional. So if that is the case, your head will cut. అది చూసుకోండి.
Okay, I got it.
నాది చూడండి, నాది I have enough space above my head.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, మీది కూడా కొంచెం కింద. That's fine, Trishul. Meet Trishul and I think I sent both of you the introduction to each other.
Okay, thanks.
మళ్ళీ మీ పేరు చెప్పండి ఒకసారి.
కృష్ణ వేమూరి.
నా పేరు త్రిశూల్.
Yeah, this is Rao Kalwala.
Okay.
త్రిశూల్ సార్, మీరు లిటిల్ బిట్ పైన హెడ్ కట్ అవుతుంది.
ఇంకొంచెం మీరు కెమెరా యాంగిల్ మార్చాలి, లేకపోతే మీ చైర్ ని కొంచెం కిందకి దించాలి.
కొంచెం వన్ స్టెప్ బ్యాక్ వెళ్ళినా ఓకే.
కొంచెం బ్యాక్ వెళ్ళినా పర్వాలేదు. బ్యాక్ వెళ్తే మీ మైక్ అందుకోదనుకుంటే చైర్ కిందకి దించండి.
ఓకే అండి, సరిపోతుంది.
ఓకే,
మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు ముందుకు వస్తే క్లోజ్ అయిపోతుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఓకే.
I'll try to move my desk away. 1 second.
Sir, వెళ్దామా సార్? రెడీ?
ఆయన ఒక్క నిమిషం చైర్ లో లేరు. ఒక్క నిమిషం. హీ జస్ట్
రాగానే మనం కౌంట్ డౌన్ చేస్తాను. ఓకే అండి, ఫైన్. ఓకే, అంతే. మరి రైట్, సూపర్. సార్ని కూడా, రావు సార్ని కూడా లిటిల్ బిట్ అవును సార్. ఓకే, సార్ని ముందు ఫ్రంట్ రాకపోతే
Is it good, Andy?
Right. Perfect. Right. Elda sir live.
Yeah.
Right. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome back to Spotlight. Happy Halloween to all of my viewers. And today we have two distinguished guests. One is Dr. Trishul and Rao Kalwala. Dr. Trishul, he did his residency in primary care from East Tennessee State University in 2012. He became the director of emergency department in Northern Virginia. After working for 5 years, Dr. Trishul Reddy took 3 years off to study and research our ancient Indian spirituality and how it relates to mind-body complex. He is also the recipient of 2011 Congressional Scholarship Award by American Association of Family Physicians and recipient of National Rural Health Association Scholarship. He won the US National Primary Care Video Contest held by the Council of Family Medicine, which aired in front of the congressional hearing in Washington, D.C. He was interviewed on WETS-FM, National Public Radio, on importance of primary care. Rao Kalwala, other gentleman, he has been in US for the last 37 years, studied Master of Science in Engineering from Texas A&M University, currently residing in Dallas, Texas, with his spouse and then 2 children. Rao Kalwala has been in IT industry for the last 33 years and currently employed by IBM. Rao is Vice President of Indian American Friendship Council, Mahatma Gandhi Memorial of North Texas, Construction Chair and Secretary, founding member of Telangana People's Association of Dallas and member of many other organizations. He has keen interest in US politics and Vedic spirituality. So we have 2 people who relate themselves to Vedic spirituality and Indian spirituality. Now, today we will talk about mask, whether is it going to influence the outcome of election. We have one campaign, that is Joe Biden's campaign, wears mask, even if there is nobody else in front of him except for him. And the other side, we have Trump. Even if thousands of people surround him, he doesn't wear mask, nor his followers wear mask. There is a lot of theories around mask wearing and then coronavirus spread. Is coronavirus going to determine the outcome of election, or is it a burning problem in USA, on which the election is hinging? Let us talk to these 2 gentlemen and find out. Rao garu, you
Good
can
evening.
go ahead.
Yes. Good evening. I want to share that what I have learned over a period of time, particularly in this last 30 days, with the top federal officials, particularly National Security Administration chiefs and Colin Powell, all those guys who came onto CNN or various media. They said that the U.S. National Security Administration has revealed this epidemic in December of 2019 to President Trump. And then again, they said in January and February. Every time they were stressing the point, the magnitude of this, the seriousness of this epidemic, and then the actions that we need to take. So we in this country, we came to know, March 1st, first week or so. And then we quickly learned about this, did a lot of research, people like me, and then understand the nature of it. And we realized that what it needs, and then waiting every day for this CDC and our President Trump's guidance. So from there, if you take today where we are, and it's very surprising that Trump is blaming today the doctors of this country, that they make money and they're inflating the numbers. And all that accusation on the hardworking, very respectable physicians in this country are being blamed for coronavirus. And this is definitely for the head of the country to blame the medical staff who risk their lives working day in, day out, putting a finger on them. And so the mask situation we knew from the day one. And then in fact, in April, that when we came to know that the doctors, the shortage of masks for the doctors in the hospitals, our organization, TPAD, Telangana People's Association of Dallas, we raised money and bought masks and sent to the doctors. So it's such a pathetic condition that even for the mask, we had to go to China to get the mask. We were not at all prepared to manufacture in this country. So such a pathetic situation we were. Even today, nothing different. Even then, even today, we are misled by President about the vaccine. And the fact is, the companies have never revealed this November 1st. And he told to the country that we will start giving vaccine on November 1st or whatever, November 1st, procure and...
weeks away, yeah. He says vaccine is weeks away. And then it's ready, and then very much ready, and then people are there and ready to distribute throughout the country. So that is what is his statement.
His statement was. So given all that, I mean, there are a lot of other facts that I for over a period of time I gathered. But definitely this election, if I was the family that where I lost one of my dear member in the family, I would definitely have a feeling that what has this advanced country, the superpower in the medicine, what has the leadership, particularly President Trump? He does not even have an administration in White House. He had it for a while and then he abandoned that. And he was contradicting every time CDC or WHO or even the state governors, when they take a action, he was contradicting, telling that I'm the boss here, you should listen to. And luckily, our local governments, our Dallas City mayor staff and the state, they acted so promptly. They were so, they did the due diligence. They saved to the best extent, they saved the people. But him not wearing the mask is not at all acceptable. And in the recent survey, in the recent research by Stanford, Stanford said, researchers, Trump campaign rallies led to more than 30,000 coronavirus cases. Okay. In many angles,
Trump... we understand. Yeah, let's give this to Dr. Trishul, and then you can express your views and then contradict Mr. Rao. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Andy. So, first of all, there is no scientific evidence that mask reduces infections. There is no data to support this fact. Masks are good if they are used appropriately. What I mean by that is, if you're a person of symptomatic, you're coughing, you have sneezing, then it protects you. And the moment you use the mask, you're supposed to dispose it immediately. But the way the masks are used at this time it's reused. So for example, many people, what they're doing is they're wearing masks. They'll go to Walmart and they'll come back and they'll put it in the car and they'll go to their house. So masks, in my opinion, are actually increasing the infection rate because you're moving you're moving the germs, the virus from one area to another area. So tell me, Mr. Rao, where is the evidence that masks protect you from coronavirus? If masks protected you from coronavirus, then we would have used it for flu. We would have used it for H1N1 swine flu. So this is not a scientific argument to begin with.
Dr. Trishul, the only guidance we have been getting is from Dr. Fauci, the CDC chief, and then we immediately acted on it. We started wearing the mask, and today my whole family wearing gloves and masks for the last several months. We protected ourselves and we followed washing our hands with a liquid and sanitizer. And even Dr. Fauci has been saying that, we read about N95, the distance we have to maintain 6 feet. So all those measures that helped us tremendously compared to that, the victims of 236,000 people died and about 8 million people or 800 million people affected. So all those things that within my circle, wherever I see, particularly in Dallas, even today, people are wearing and reduced quite a bit in our area where we live. But again, tell me that who is the authority in this country under Trump administration other than CDC? If you had knew that the guidance, what is the proper guidance to save our lives in this country?
Trishul.
That's a very good question, Mr. Rao. The thing is that Dr. Fauci, in my humble opinion, has been a disaster in this coronavirus pandemic response. Dr. Fauci is an infectious disease expert. He is involved in he's been trained to treat medically how to treat infections and vaccines and all this, but he is not an epidemiologist who considers cost-benefit ratio. He considers mitigation analysis and all. Just like Sweden, the head of the Sweden who's in charge in their country is an epidemiologist, bona fide, certified public health expert. But Dr. Fauci is not that. So we have been getting wrong advice from Dr. Fauci. What should have been done, instead of lockdowns and mandatory mask wearing for everyone, what should have been done is to concentrate on building your immunity, which is your first primary defense against this infection.
How do you think that you can increase the immunity threshold in this respect of with respect to coronavirus?
Yes, there are many ways. So, for example, not to talk about like our ancient Vedic treatments, but there are many supplements which can increase your immunity. For example, vitamin C has been proven, zinc has been proven, vitamin D has been proven. There's also turmeric, neem. All these things have been proven to increase the immune response to fight coronavirus. But why has Dr. Fauci not concentrate on building the primary defense, which is our immunity? Why? Because the medical system has been trained to talk about pharmaceutical medicines which are patented and needs to be, there's a money-making kind of situation here. So for example, turmeric cannot be patented, neem cannot be patented, vitamin C cannot be patented. So they're looking for something which is, the treatment is very simple. To build your immunity is very simple. But the way we have been trained in our medical schools is that you need to have something that is patented and made money. If you don't make money, then they'll call you a charlatan, and they'll call you all kinds of names, saying that you're voodoo. This is all voodoo. But to tell you the truth, the best way to protect yourself from coronavirus is to build your own innate immunity. You see?
Okay. But see, why are you, and then everybody is running around the CNNs and Foxes, everybody is hinging this whole election, not even mask, not even corona, but around Fauci. Is he so great about this, I mean, as far as coronavirus is concerned, or why people always refer to him and then fight with corona? Why always people refer to him and then defend against the other people's views? Is he redundant now, or is he still a epidemiology expert or a virus science expert?
The truth is the truth is that the way he responded to the pandemic has been substandard. For example, I'll tell you what mitigates coronavirus. Sunshine, light kills the virus. Salt water kills the virus. Go to the beach, go to the pool. Chlorine kills the virus. Go camping. All these things help to social distancing. But lockdowns, what he suggested was a lockdown. Why does New York have so many coronavirus cases? Because they're locked down. They went into their apartments, which is a close cluster. It's like, remember in the early days when a lot of people in these cruise ships got coronavirus. Why? Because they were all aggregated together in one place, and they had a recycled air conditioning system. This is the same thing in that's happening in coronavirus. What if you want to socially distance? How can being in an apartment complex be considered as social distance?
Rao, let us not discuss about the coronavirus itself. I want the discussion to be centered around the election outcome on coronavirus or mask or Fauci or whoever it is. It should be centered around the election. Yeah, go ahead, Rao.
First of all, I wanted to answer about the Fauci's capabilities. As Fauci from the day one, he said, there is a scientist behind him. He's not the one person. And they had a best scientists who are guiding him, and they were studying, and the data collected by, what is that university? And they all, time to time, based on the collected data, they were comparing around the world and giving the right guidance. So it was highly scientific, highly based on, since it's a new, yet our US scientific team has done. But the failure happened when Trump taking that information and acting on it would have saved. For example, in December, had Trump administration acted on it, because December is the time New York gets millions of tourism from all over. Had he acted that time, shut down the transportation, would have saved New York City lives, a lot of them. So also in PPEs and all that, if we had known this early on, probably there was a better PPEs and ventilators. We were running short of ventilators. We had to manufacture right at the time. So all those tells that our leadership in the DC, our president, and his ability to understand the epidemic and take the guidance is lacking. And that is the reason why that we have so many deaths. And even today, we do not have a good plan. He does not share a plan how he is going to, what is the outcome, where is the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel. We do not see that. And the unemployment is so high, and people are suffering quite a bit financially, health-wise, mentally. So all this is this due to the inability and the unfit president, I would say, for that matter.
Okay, thank you, Rao. And then I open my second point for the discussion. You said the unemployment is low now, okay, and then we need to lock down the things. Okay, these are the two contradicting points. If you lock down more, there will be more unemployment. If there is more unemployment, people cry about unemployment. And this centers around what we call the stigma that is built around coronavirus. I just want to show some graphics from Hopkins University, just for a minute. Okay, this is the coronavirus number of daily cases in USA. And then if you look at, these are the number of deaths in USA. Okay, this the lower right-hand side corner. The thing is, when the cases are here March and the deaths are somewhere around 1 or 2, here at this point of time, we were so scared, and we went all the way to Boston and then bring our kids back to New Jersey. Okay, and then university is closed. Now, coming back to here in September is no better. September 1st, the college is open, and then we dropped them. They are there still, even at this peak. My kids are there still in the Boston University. I'm sorry, in the Boston. So what made me and then my family to think that they are okay to stay, while at this stage, March, when 1 or 2 cases are there, we hurriedly went and then brought them back. Okay, now with reference to this stigma that is built around the corona, I would like you to answer the lockdowns and then open ups, and then what Trump is doing right, what Trump is not doing wrong with respect to, in the federated government, the responsibilities and then the powers that he has in the state as well as in the counties or in the local governments. So please go ahead, Rao.
So we knew this from the day one. I was following Bill Gates, who had who has been studying, as we know that, his role in the world. And this is what exactly he said. until we get the vaccination, we are going to have this ups and down. And in the beginning, he said the nation has to be locked down for 30 days. So we could, because that that would have done some better eliminating, but we have done in partial shutdowns brought us where we are today. And then we need to pretty much live with this ups and downs until we get the vaccine, which according to the pharmaceutical companies, we all know that it takes typical 18 months to get the so-called a standard vaccination. And so until then, we need to be careful, and then we need to listen to our scientific community and who have been studying around the world how various people are doing, collecting the data, and we need to listen to that. Our President Trump has to take their guidance and build a strong Trump COVID team in his administration, and then help these pharmaceutical companies wherever needed to cut down the time. So if you look at the pharmaceutical companies, they are totally frustrated with Trump's view. He's playing politics with them. There's a lot of frustration going on there. So those are my views based on what I've learned.
Dr. Trishul.
I don't understand what Mr. Rao is saying, playing politics. I really don't understand. He has done everything he could possibly do to the best of his ability. Whatever he says, President Trump says, the whole mainstream media goes against it and tries to prove him wrong. All I'm trying to say is, if this is a novel coronavirus, that means this is a new virus, the world has never seen this virus, we have to use our common sense more than basing our judgment on evidence. What evidence do we have? It's only been 6-7 months this virus has come to place. So now the whole world is depending on these doctors who also have no clue about this virus. So what I'm trying to say is, it is not about President Trump. It is about us. How do we prevent the infection from, affecting us and killing us? So what I'm suggesting is, we have to follow science, and science means we have to build our primary defense, which means we have to increase our immunity. Now, they say, hindsight is 20/20. Of course, you can blame him on everything. President Trump is the most powerful person in this whole free world, democratic free world. And
I don't agree, Trishul. He's the strongest weak person. That's how I define, in the sense, not Trump. He's a US president. He cannot do anything in the state. Like otherwise, he would have stopped possibly a lot of violence and looting. He cannot do possibly into a township fund and do anything. So he is so powerless when it comes to township and then to the state.
No, I understand what you're saying.
That's what I want to make a point. Like, see, he can make certain things available, as governor of New York told that, okay, he made the ship available and made it as in a hospital, and he built a hospital. That's what he can do. More than that, he cannot do. Yeah, president should have his own personal opinion about everything, and he had his personal opinion. He doesn't want to wear mask, and so is Biden. He is right in his own way. Even if he is only one person in front of the mic, he wears mic. That is his problem. Okay, now go ahead. Basically, I'm trying to say the limitations of the president in this federated country, the responsibilities of governors and responsibilities of the townships, as well as ultimately citizen is more powerful here.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree, Krishna Garu. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, when you're a leader of a most powerful economic engine in the world, you cannot make snap decisions to close the economy like that. The moment, if you would have made a decision, such a rash decision, it would have been an economic collapse all around the world. So he had to take advice of many, many people. And at the end of the day, he's the president. Dr. Fauci is not the president. Fauci can only advise him. These other experts can only advise him. But as a president, he has to take everything into consideration and make a good decision. And I think he has made a good. Initially, he did lockdown. Good, because we had to understand what's going on. We had to, the hospitals were being overwhelmed and everything. Great, he did that. But later on, as he learned more, and we all learned more about this disease, he has, moved away from Dr. Fauci's advice, because there are many doctors like me who say that lockdowns are even more dangerous and detrimental, especially these draconian lockdowns. And economic collapse is much more worse condition than dying from COVID. 99% of the people who get COVID will survive. 1%, that too in elderly, 75 and above, are the ones who are at risk. So my suggestion is open up the economy, and as far as the elderly and the vulnerable population, let's get social services involved, help them in a way. But because of 1%, we're closing the whole economy down, the world economy. For me personally, in my humble opinion, it does not make sense.
Okay. How many people, Raugar, in your opinion, is going to base their decision to vote against or for Trump, or against for Biden in this situation? And then how whatever we have discussed is going to impact the whole thing on 3 days from now?
Yes, that's a good question, actually, Ravi Garu. It's in my mind, definitely this is in everybody's mind day in, day out. And people are not very optimistic where the future is going to be for them and for the family, for their jobs, more than anything else. And then also the flu season is just started. And there's so much of a scare going on already. The numbers are spiking everywhere. And we all know that how the flu season in this country, and irrespective of whether you take a flu shot or not, still you will get it. And I myself is with a diabetes, and I'm susceptible. And we have that fear in the family. So with the Trump's plan, with the Trump's direction from the day one, I myself do not have a confidence that that I'm safe in this country safe here. Same thing with anywhere, even in India. But Trump, this decision is definitely going to impact in people's mind that Trump could have done better than what's happening today. And then along with that, with various other things, particularly if they are jobless, not only just the COVID as an epidemic, but the job. If people lost a job, it's very difficult to find a job in this situation today.
That is where precisely I'm asking this question, Raugar. See, if Trump and then all the governors continue to lock down, okay, there will not be any jobs for few months or few years, as per some of the people are going to put it. We are going to get the vaccination only at the end of 2021. So until then, if everybody has to sit down and then work, there is no work, and then everybody is, first of all, forget about anything. They will not have money to buy anything except for the rich. So this is why precisely I'm asking, because of Trump is there, he is able to provide the jobs because he is strongly for opening the economy. And then it is my problem that I'm going to wear mask or don't wear mask, but I have work. I go to work and then I can make meal to my table and to my family. That is it not the right thing that people are thinking because of Trump, and then because he is opening the economy, he is for it, and his things are being validated. So therefore, people want to vote for him. That's what my question is.
Yes, it's a great question. That right now, I'll tell you that the confidence, the optimism is very less. So if I were either Trump or in a Biden situation, this is one of the subjects dear to my heart. I've seen in the 90s how we lost the jobs in this country and how people have suffered. There are two things. One is the manufacturing jobs and also the farm jobs, where the automation went up, put a lot of people out of job. Even today, today, if we stop this initiative, where bring back some of the jobs from China, put a timeline and then build the capabilities. We missed the boat quite a bit. We went to the 10-year war, spent $6.5 trillion, and that money would have brought us so many jobs back. But even today, even if you bring some level of jobs from China back into this country in a quick time, and that would give some optimism. And even in the farming area, we have so much of farming in this country. We need to have a good relationship in the world to export the farming goods. And that's another area. And wherever there are opportunities to cut down the imports and have a self-sufficiency, this is the right time to the government to think about it. And if not, we are going to, it's going to be, the impact is going to be humongous, COVID aftermath impact.
I just intervene in between before giving to Dr. Trishul. Rao Garu, you are speaking as if Trump is putting words in your mouth. And then he is the person telling there should not be any wars. We are fighting useless war outside of America and wasting trillions of dollars. And then he is the person who told that years together, we have succumbed to China, and then China has robbed millions of dollars from us. Otherwise, our jobs would have saved. And in during 2016 election, it looks that Clinton has asked, did you not build your Trump Towers or whatever with the steel that you bought from China? He simply said, yes, that is your rule and you made it. You made China steel so cheap. So that's why I bought it. I'm a businessman. But when I become a president, I will be a different person. So he's exactly doing, he is exactly doing whatever he told some 1978. I have been following his things from 1990, I think. Whatever he told then, and he's telling the same things now. He's not changing the words. And then he's exactly telling we bring the jobs. And one surprising thing I have seen about Biden in his campaign is saying we want to bring the jobs first. And then is it not in the Obama era, they created what we call Rust Belt and which made Trump win? That's my question to you, Rao Garu, before we hand over to the show.
Sure. Actually, this is a very, very philosophical question also. Our psychology in this country, if you look at our Republicans and the billionaires of this country, they want to build wealth first. And with that, we depended on China giving us a carrot, giving us better quality, global supply chain, whatnot. Nobody ever imagined that this level of magnitude, the manufacturing, the quality-wise, price-wise, the timely nature, all that ended up in China. Now, if you look at our medical pharma, 80% of our pharma is depending on China and in India.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yes.
All these things that when Trump came, we need a lot of diplomacy to deal with world countries, particularly China, saying that, yes, we want to depend on you, but look at we want to bring some and put a priority. What jobs then we can bring it here? Instead of that, he started conflicting with them and created a big havoc. And today, a few weeks ago, about 3,500 companies like Tesla and Home Depot put a lawsuit against the president, 3,500 lawsuits, because he raised the tariffs in such a way, it becomes very expensive. In this economy, we cannot increase the prices of the goods. And the relationship with China, if any time China feels that, hey, I want to pull the plug, you broke all this World Trade Organization, WTO, whatever the agreements we have, and that is another risk. So in the given situation with the relationship we have China, right now it's very difficult for us to pull back anything. It is they can shut down. So we need to build that relationship. That's where Biden comes into the picture. We need to build China relationship. We cannot just break overnight. It takes time to bring the jobs back.
To Dr. Trishul, it's your time now.
Yeah, I mean, there is no compromise with the Chinese Communist Party. Chinese Communist Party is an existential threat to humanity. They have 1 million Uyghurs, Muslim Uyghurs in concentration camps who they harvest their live organs for transplantation. While they're alive, they take the organs to transplant. You cannot negotiate with China. We have to topple the Communist Party. How are we going to do it? Mike Pompeo knows, I understand what's going on and everything, but we need to decouple from China. China is an existential threat to humanity. They're bullying not only India, but all the Asian countries, ASEAN countries, the Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines. Not only that, they're depleting the whole the fisheries of the ocean. The fact that we think that we can somehow negotiate with the Chinese Communist Party, which is the most evil regime, is ridiculous. We need to decouple, and we will decouple. It has to be in a stepwise way, but there is no negotiation. I really think that China, if Biden wins, China wins. If Biden wins, Pakistan wins. It's already in the official record that Biden and Hunter Biden, for example, Hunter Biden's emails show that the Chinese government is paying them for influence. So if Biden wins, that means Chinese Communist Party has infiltrated the highest level of government in this country. And not only that, if Biden wins, and for example, Kamala Harris's husband is a lawyer for Chinese Communist Party. They, on record, both of them said that they're against Prime Minister Modi and the Hindutva and everything. And they said they will support Pakistan when it comes to Kashmir issue. Now we have
we started with the Corona, lockdowns, jobs, economy, we went to China, then from China to Kashmir to India. So let us come back to our issue, the coronavirus pandemic, lockdowns, and then economy. Lockdowns will make jobs lose. And then when jobs are not there, there will be a lot of problems, as everybody puts it. And even Democrats also, they are saying, okay, jobs are lost. In fact, Obama, he has no work to do the tweet. He says like, okay, during the pandemic, he lost 11 million jobs, no, 23 million jobs. Okay. So, which means jobs are important for Democrats as well as Republicans. I mean, more so for the people of America or people of the world. And then pandemic on one side, and people are learning it, and people are accepting that there is pandemic. In this case, who will show the initiative and provide the jobs? That is our question, and then come back.
I mean, this is very clear, Krishna Garu. This is very clear. The President Trump is obviously very open against lockdowns and opening up the economy. Whereas Biden, Vice President Biden and their team, they are going according to science. Science is not always right. 5 years ago they said coffee is good for you. Another 5 years later, they say coffee is bad for you. You cannot go according to science. You have to use common sense. Ultimately, you have to use common sense.
That is exactly I was trying to portray in the video that I have shown. In the March, when there were 2 deaths in New Jersey, we were worried. Okay, and now even if there are 10 or 15 deaths, I think after 700 or 800, it came to 10 or 15 deaths, and then a lot of cases again back. We are not worried. So this is something which science cannot explain. So,
yes, exactly.
So therefore, yeah, Raugar, your comment on this one before we move on to next segment.
Yeah. So on that aspect, we have been very much. It happened to be, unfortunately, the election year, and this COVID-19 has become a target of a political debate or whatever, politically focused. So we need to keep quickly. This country is a great country in the history in terms of innovation and in terms of discoveries. So the political, we need to keep it aside, and then they need to bring the best of the breed intelligence into the picture and see in the given situation, how do we not hurting the economy to a certain level, jobs and the safety of the people and the health. All these 3 factors keeping together, it's not easy. The president has to roll his sleeves and then keep his mouth shut and then bring the people, talented people, together and work it out. It's not an easy task. And We cannot afford to go to the media and talk all this. That is a not about, that is not, that's very un-American. We have seen America, what they have done in the last 100 years. So we need to, that's the only way it will work.
To you, Dr. Trishul.
I mean, what is the question, Krishna Garu? Like I already told you that the dealing with China in a diplomatic way is out of the question anymore. They have infiltrated every level, according to the Department of State, from kindergarten to 12th grade, and even in our politics, you know. So there is no way that we can deal with it. We have to decouple with China. China is an existential threat to humanity. You know, if Biden wins, China wins, because they have reached the highest level. This is not about politics. This is about reality. You know, coronavirus, where was it started? It was started in Wuhan. Why did they hide the fact that there was a coronavirus? They even influenced the WHO. You know, Tedros. Tedros is the head of WHO. He's not even a doctor. But, you know, somehow they told us, you know, all this nonsense and everything. So my question to Mr. Rao is, do you think Biden will be a better president to stand up against China versus Trump? Because if you see the United Nations speech, you will realize that Trump stood up, the only leader in the world to stand up against China. Do you think Biden will stand up to China compared to Trump?
Dr. Trishul, this is a good question. The only reason US presidents build a relationship with the countries because our capitalists or our business has a need. So that's the reason the dependency has gone up, and that is the reason our diplomacy has gone up. And for us to bring back the business, there need to be, you cannot, while having a strong, I believe it's close to $1 trillion trade we have, or $500 billion trade with China. While we're having that, we cannot be aggressive with China. I understand the facts, what you're saying. They are building the war capabilities in a very advanced, and unfortunately, India has came in between the US and China. India is suffering, and we need a president that is going to be very diplomatically work with China and India for short term, and then slowly come out of it, but not aggressively doing in the COVID situation when the economy is depending on China goods, when our lives are depending. If they shut down the pharma to India and China, this is it's such a massive threat to the human lives. So keeping that in mind, we cannot just shut it overnight. We cannot show the war while we are depending on them.
Yes, you're right. 100% you're right. I mean, it is a process. It is a process, but the process has to be started. My only question is, I don't think Biden's administration is up to it. You know,
I don't know why you think Biden do not do that. When I say Biden, we are all thinking he's a one person, but the whole administration, the Democratic Party, all the elected officials, they all in this country, it's always a democratic thinking. First time when we saw a Trump-like a dictatorial leader, we haven't seen until then. And,
no, sir, Rao, I mean, see, being a moderator, I have to step in here. For every single thing, from the other side, they are blaming Trump, not the Trump administration even. They're blaming Trump, not even the Senate, which is majority, Republican Party is majority in that. So therefore, in the presidential election, it is customary to talk about the capabilities of the presidents, which are supposed to influence. And your very own statement is stating that the Biden is not by himself, and he is influenced by others, and most of them are left, far left, and socialist, whatever it is, and then pro-China. Obviously, their principles are pro-China, and of course, China is not pro-socialism. I think they are pro-imperialism. They want to expansionism, imperialism, whatever we call it. They went to that state from communism. Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
But Ravi Garu, if you look at Krishna, what is the commonality other than business? Sorry, Krishna Garu. What is the commonality of either Democrats or the US with China? We are nowhere in that same lifestyle, when you say left is communism, we are nowhere there. The only interest is that a cheap goods we are getting from there. And if you have that capability today, for example, take the India. I was coming from the IT background. I saw that from 80s, from slow start to how rapidly we went. And there is a reason for that. In this country, if you didn't do the IT dependency has gone up. And if you don't have the proper IT systems, the businesses will shut down. They did shut down because not having a proper IT systems. And India has proven that. Same thing, China has proven its capability. So let's not doubt Biden administration or Democratic administration that they will get close to China and destroy US. That is, I see that across the board from all the Republicans. That is not the right way of thinking. If you look at from Clinton to Obama, what damage have they done in terms of the other than the business relationship?
World Trade Organization. Who got China into World Trade Organization? Clinton did.
Yeah, but there was a reason for that.
Let me step in here. Let us close this topic here by just putting one more comment on this. I think in 1980s, when I graduated, I used to go to Sanathnagar or Balanagar of Hyderabad, and then there used to be a lot of small industries who give jobs to. In fact, there is a Uppal industrial area. They used to give a lot of jobs to people, and now when I go, I think 10 years back, I saw there is not even a single industry there. Okay, they all are importing from China. Okay, so leave that alone. It destroyed India's small businesses also, and India is now, if it has to come to the extent of China and manufacturing, probably it takes years to get there for that kind of maturity what China is there and Raugar is telling. Somebody has to pull up the plug at some point of time, maybe. True, Trump and Modi might be able to do it, and then world might follow. Let us come back again to protests, rallies, and COVID, Corona, Trump, Biden. So these are the next topic. We have seen a lot of protests that have happened, swarmed across the country, which were blamed for the second Corona wave, second wave of Corona. I think they started in 22nd May. That's when the cases have increased. After that, then there was looting and rioting and so on and so forth. Thereafter, somewhere in June, Trump has started his rally in one of those countries, one of those states. Okay. So people on either side blame that, okay, because of the protests, there was a lot of spike in the Corona, and then so is Trump's rallies. As you pointed out, there were 30,000 cases at least were attributed to Trump's rallies. Okay. So considering this, I want to take one example from one of the mayor of one of the biggest city being New York. When one reporter asked him about similar question, then he said, no, I want to impose a specific lockdown based on the zip code, okay? Because from the other zip code, it doesn't, from this zip code, when the lockdown is happens, okay, coronavirus probably may not go to the other zip code. That's what his contempt. Then after that, he told, I want to close down the churches or whatever it is, prayer things, okay? I want to restrict people movement. Then somebody asked, what about protests? And he said, protests are fine because they're fighting for change. Okay, that means when protests are there, the coronavirus will not come to them, it looks. Okay, so this is the kind of the mentality the people have. And as a byproduct of protests, there was violence. And then again, I have been talking in every show that because of the protests, there is violence, and then the violence is not condemned by anybody from the rank and file of Democratic Party in the DNC or somewhere or anywhere. Okay, so that is it. And then again, on the other side, the Trump rallies, you have seen thousands of people. And then it is envious for the other party also, whereas Obama has hardly a few people there. And then Biden has, and the CNN has put on record stating that these are the number of people, and then which might swing the election. That's what they say recently. Okay. Coming back to our again COVID, Corona, and the impact on elections issue, how you see this double standards of your party, Democratic Party, And then again, Trump is not double standard. He's saying, okay, I want to go, I'm going. That's it. There is no double standard. But again, there is an effect. So tell us about the outcome on the elections, about this protest, and then violence is some byproduct of the protest being violence, and then Trump's rallies. Rao garu.
So Krishna Garu, when you say double standards, could you explain me what in what way you're saying double standard?
Okay, double standard is like, see, when they say we are going to have, I'm de Blasio of New York mayor, I'm taking one comment, okay, and then it is extended to several others. Double standard is, he is okay with a lot of people congregating to protest against something because they are asking for a change. Okay, that is one. And then at the same time, he wants to impose lockdowns on some other categories of people. Okay, that is the double standard. And another double standard is when there is a protest. Okay, protesters may not have looted, or protesters may not have rioted, pull down the shutters of the whatever are the shops and then burn them. But there were some people have crept into it, at least, so that much everybody know. The double standard is in the Democratic National Convention and thereafter, and before that, nobody, right from Obama's wife, and then Biden's wife, and then in the rank and file of the entire Democratic Party, even now, they are unwilling to acknowledge that there is a small business, there is a big business, whatever it is, and then the business has been suffered because of the violence and looting, which is a byproduct of this one. So they're not even, we don't want them to say that, okay, protesters have rioted. So they are unwilling to mention that one. So what do you say about this double standard?
Okay, got it. If you look at the events, I've been following the events with particularly, how this, we call it Black Lives Matter today, and whether we call it a civil rights for the blacks, whatever happened in this country, and still that exist in our mind. We may not see the same perspective, what they see in their perspective, what they see day in, day out. So it came to a point, unless, unfortunately, in the same COVID time, in the election time, where that there are incidents. If you look at from the media perspective, if you look at a perspective of you put yourself in their shoe, how they feel. If it happens to our community, also we would feel that. In that perspective, you look at it, it looks definitely that it is they're
no, I'm not saying anything of protests. I'm not against protests. I'm okay. Protests are to be there in democracy. Krishna is not against protests. Okay, go ahead. So
okay.
that we agree. I agree. Everybody agrees.
Yeah. So in a situation like that, right? In a strong leadership, either at the state level or national level, need to be providing an assurance, a healing assurance, that, hey, this is unfortunately happened. We need to come together. Let's we will address this, and we'll make sure this doesn't happen. Instead of giving that assurance, that at least I did not see coming from the President Trump or the governors or whoever they are. They let them freely because they want them to let it out. That's a strategy they took. The Democratic Party, they said, if you stop it now, the fire you cannot contain the fire, and let's let it come out. So that's either that, or there could be a political motive. But end of the day, that I did not see an assurance from them, a healing assurance, saying that, hey, we will work it out. We will things like that. So that's my view on that.
You mean the Trump administration? You mean?
Yes. Okay. Trump administration.
Okay. Tim Scott of North Carolina, congressional leader, or no, Senator Tim Scott has come up with a proposal for the police reforms, and Democrats haven't attended the meeting, and they did not want to take up any action against that. So I think it's a stalemate at that point of time about this one. I know, as I told again, the Trump's things are only limited. He can make senatorial, or senators can make a law, and then the law again has to be implemented locally for police and other things by the state governments. Federal government cannot take any action as such because of its limited powers on the state. So at that point of time, it's no, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying, okay, whether he has done or not done, is it not our responsibility to say, hey, protesters, take care of, there are some bad elements are coming into your protest and then they're bringing down the businesses, you are going to get a bad name. Please don't do it. Or otherwise, okay, protesters, see, we are going to arrest you. In fact, they're not doing that. The other way, they have started cashless bonds, cashless bail bonds. So when somebody is caught, they are coming out of the things. So that is the state of the affairs. And then, the police, because of whatever the restrictions they have, they can only just walk forward, not do anything. Unlike India, if you see Pennsylvania, in half an hour in India, the situation would have been rectified. The governor of Pennsylvania could not do it. The mayor of Pennsylvania could not do it. Go ahead, sir. That is what I want to ask you. Trishul.
I just want to say that ever since Columbus has set foot on this land, there has been racism. It is not something Trump has started. Okay, there's always been racism in this country. Now, people are saying, Black Lives Matter, are saying there's systemic racism. How can there be systemic racism when America has the most millionaires and billionaires in this world? How can there be systemic racism when the chiefs of police are African American? This is all political nonsense as far as I'm concerned, Krishna Garu. There is police brutality that happens for Black people and white people accordingly, and there's police unions. It's a complex issue, okay? That's a different issue. But to say that there is a systemic racism in this country is just, it is laughable. There is no way. This is the most free democratic nation in the planet. There's nothing other than, there's no other country that is more free and democratic as this. Civil rights movement. This is the first country in the world that has created a civil rights movement. So this whole Black Lives movement has been hijacked by the DNC, the Democratic Party, and they're using it to win elections. That's it. I have nothing else to say about it. If Oprah Winfrey can be the richest woman in the world, in America, where is there systemic racism?
Okay. Now we almost came to end of our time, sir. Raugar, you have 30 seconds for your final remarks before we close, and then.
Yes, definitely that the points you raised, Krishna Garu, are going to play a big role in this election, and I've been talking to many people, including the youth, and in their minds also, it's very, they're more and more, they're becoming ultra-liberal, our youth in this country, and they have made a lot of the decisions depending on these things that we discussed, the COVID and the riots, and those are the two things that are going to play in this election.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Trishul, your final remarks in 30 seconds, sir.
My final remarks is only this. If President Trump wins, there's going to be riots. There's going to be instability. They're going to say voter suppression, racism, and all this nonsense and everything. Ultimately, what counts is that there needs to be a president who's egomaniacal. He needs to have ego. People are expecting a president to become a saint and be nice and everything. No, that's not the president's job. If you want to fight the establishments, FBI, CIA, NSA, the mainstream media, you have to have an ego. There's nothing wrong with having an ego and being narcissistic, because you're the most powerful leader in the world. So my thing is, I think 100% President Trump will win this election, and he will have 4 years. And I hope that on top of that, if President Trump was a racist and most powerful person in the world, why didn't he enact some racist policies? Show me one policy that says he's racist.
Okay.
Or fascist.
Okay. Thank you, Trishul, and thank you, Raugaru.
Thank you very much.
Okay. American people, the elections are in 3 days. You are the decision maker. Corona, no corona, economy, jobs, whatever is your decision, that is going to make the next person sit in the White House. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.